Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Coffee with the Critters, where I live stream every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, unless otherwise noted. We've been live streaming every Sunday morning for the past 5.5 years. So we were live streaming before live streaming was cool. Anyways, my name is Laura Joseph, owner of the Animal Behavior Center. We're an international educational center teaching people all over the world how to empower the lives of animals and the people that care for them. We do that through the use of applied behavior analysis and showing others how we do that. So, as you may see, I am at Indian Creek Zoo, where I have been spending probably the past 10 solid straight days. I've barely been at my center, barely seen my animals, because I am focused on making sure the center here is exactly the way we need it to be for when we move out here, which is looking like the end of September. I've got a date scheduled to have all of our enclosures made, which is a whole 3-day job. So good morning, everybody. Hey, Eva. Hey, Bobby, Maggie, Adrian, Mark, Therese. Yay. Good morning. This morning, like I said, we are in the process of Indian Creek Zoo is building us a brand new center out here on the zoo property. And it is really coming along, and I can show you what that looks like. So stay with me, because today we're going to talk about coercion and problems. The problems using coercion has with the animals that we work with. I'll define it and go into detail. So you're going to hear a lot of different noises here today, because I'm joined with 2 hyacinth macaws, and beside me, to my right, which looks like I'm pointing to my left, is a Desensitization crane, which I am going to be getting out as soon as this live stream is over and doing a public demonstration. So if you are local, come up to Indian Creek Zoo today and you will see the introduction of our Desensitization crane. We also are going to have encounters happening today. I'm going to be not live streaming. I'll be training alligators this morning. I'm going to be training a lot. I'm very busy today. If you're local, come and see us. If you're not local, take a look at our website, theanimalbehaviorcenter.com, because we are getting ready, or we're going to be having zoo workshops. The one coming up is pretty much already filled. But stay tuned, and you can find out more about what we do on our website, which is theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. And if you want to get a hold of me, they're on the contact button. You will find my email address, which is laura@theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. Okay, so I'm excited because I'm going to be training a crane as soon as we're done with this live stream. So let me go ahead and get this moving so we can start talking about coercion and problems using coercion. Right here on our Facebook page, you will find events. That's where we keep up to date upcoming events as our world starts getting back to normal, because we have to get back to normal, whatever that looks like. I don't know if there is a normal anymore. You can also, on our Facebook page right there, you can see, join our email newsletter list. And once a month, I'm sending out a newsletter. And if you see this come through your email, that means you have a newsletter from me. So, hey, Sheila, thanks. I got the card in the mail. Thank you. And Ray and Chantel and Judith and Pat and Lisa, Kim, Nancy Forrester down there in Key West, Beth, Daphne. Yes, we got a lot of things happening here. So let me show you a couple of pictures of what happened this past week. Our building is way beyond this already. So tomorrow will be Monday, the 24th. our building was constructed, starting being constructed 2 weeks ago. The concrete is poured and finished. The plumbing is in. Here is me and awesome Dale, for anybody local that knows Dale, just doing a little touch-up work on the final concrete. And I decided to make some kind of inscription in the concrete. And in my current center, hey, Nikki, Tudge, and Juliet, and Erica, hey, I decided I etched in the concrete at the current Animal Behavior Center 8 years ago. I wrote in, to the birds with love. So I had to write a new inscription on the new concrete, and I was trying to think, because it's no longer just birds. Well, it never was just birds. So now here at the zoo, I'm training absolutely everything. And I'm getting ready to go out and train the alligators today, which is, I'm going to admit, sorry birds, the alligators are my favorite thing to train. I will be doing that, but here's the inscription I wrote. And Dr. Jason Conroy helped me think of this, because I was just like, I've got like 5 minutes to come up with something. How do I do this? And how do I dedicate it to the animals? And how do I say, here's to a future of knowing and doing better. Here's to a future of collaboration. So I wrote, our future for all animals, ABC for Animal Behavior Center, ICZ, Indian Creek Zoo, 2020. Yep. Hey, Lauren, good to have you on here. Lauren just finished her internship with the Animal Behavior Center, and hopefully we see you back this winter. Okay. Couple things that happened. The awesome Dr. Jason Conroy was here this past week with me and the Animal Behavior Center, and collaborating with Indian Creek Zoo. Dr. Jason Conroy's, the hats he wears are many, but he's helping bring the science and education and conservation to Indian Creek Zoo. Jason and I work very closely together, and to pick his brain is nothing short of amazing. It is a great asset to the Animal Behavior Center and Indian Creek Zoo to have him on board. What else happened this week? Lots of things. We're doing lots of training. Loki, the Asian fishing cat, is out and about, and I'm going to go train him today. And he remembers things from what I trained a long time ago. All right, the last time I trained Loki was 3 years ago. I thought I had more pictures than just this, but I guess not. Before we start talking about our topic, I wanted to say, whoa, what's that? This is just a surprise photo I took this past week. Lindsay and I were in the lemur enclosure with Mason, helping redesign it for a better exhibit for the lemurs. And here it looks like Dill on her shoulder. She's like, hey, look at me. So I was like, snapshot. The volunteers of the Animal Behavior Center are slowly beginning to integrate here at Indian Creek Zoo. We've got Lindsay that works out here 2 days a week. We currently have Erica Blagrave, who's on here, and Angie Canaline on our enrichment team from the Animal Behavior Center. Coming out here, has been on Thursdays, and helping us design enrichment. You want me to show you some of the things? Hang on, because I'm looking at a table full of enrichment right on the other side. This is my office right now, and it's a complete disaster area, because that's how I work well in disaster areas, and I work well at creating them. Let me show you. This has nothing to do with coercion. But this is what we're going to do right after. That sound you hear is the crane right next to us. Right after this live stream, and after I get the crane out. Lindsay's lovely mug, beautiful, but I need the whole screen. Okay, so this is what the volunteers have put together for the lemur. So we got some hay in here, and we can probably sprinkle some Cheerios in here and maybe some fruit and get them using their hands coming in here. Okay, but not until after 10:30 because we have a 10:30 lemur encounter out here. I've got this for the crows. Angie and Erica put this together for the crows, and there's some nuts in there. Got some nuts on there. And this is for the African pied crows, for those of you that remember Kronos. Remember Kronos? We're not going to make this easy. So we're going to put this in the enclosures today. Today is going to be very active and full of enrichment out here at the zoo. Oh, this is going into the aviary for the budgies. Okay. It's got a bunch of seed in here. They're going to love this. When you move this around, the seed falls out. And I believe it was Mason and Angie that came up with this. Okay. I love PVC enrichment because it's easy to throw in the dishwasher and clean. Okay. So I was originally thinking this for browse for the giraffe, hole in, hole out, shove branches through, but that is pretty simple. But when I start shaping enrichment, I start out simple. I start out with what the animal can do. But Mason showed this to me, and I was like, huh. So we had him, he drilled this out, but I had him go through and smooth this out because this is going to be for the giraffe. And we're going to throw in browse here. And then I am going to hang it on the side of the cage and just observe when I'm giving enrichment to animals. When it's new, I will sit and observe first. And then this hangs on the side of his enclosure like this. So I'm going to have to, so it's going to hang with the holes down at the bottom. So this will cause, I think, according to Amanda, giraffes have 18-inch tongue. So if I hang this and their head is up here, they can either go this way or they can feel, because they're not going to be able to see, but they're ever going to feel with their tongue. And I'm going to shove this full of browse and make sure parts of it hang out. And I think they're really going to enjoy this. That's what's going to happen today at the zoo as our enrichment team starts building. Okay. Yes, I love PVC too. Let's go ahead and get started because we got a lot to talk about. All right. Let's talk about coercion. What is coercion? Coercion is something that I try to stay very far away from in my training with animals. I particularly love training exotics because exotics can be undomesticated and they aren't as resilient as domestic animals. I find that exotics, you have a very hard time forcing them to do many things, or not that you would want to, but I love training exotics because I love challenges. I love increased complexity. I love working with numerous animals at once. I think I just reinforced that behavior. There's my sweetheart. Maybe I'll have to get her out. If you guys want me to live stream with Jewel, I will get her out. She is the female hyacinth. I can't have them both out or this live stream is not going to happen. I love training exotics because they're less resilient to force. And I don't want to force them. It causes me to have to really sit down and think, how am I going to do this? And the first time I start interacting with a new animal, bing, 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 I start working, I identify positive reinforcers, and then I grab those. Positive reinforcers are so much more than food. We're only using, we probably use food here as positive reinforcement about half the time, maybe less than half the time. As you saw when I just turned around and looked at her, mine truly, I reinforced a behavior, not an undesired behavior, but I don't want to see where that goes beyond this. I reinforced a behavior by just turning around and looking at her. So I observe positive reinforcers. I'll pull certain ones, and then I give them the same amount of that positive reinforcer throughout the day for behaviors I need to maintain or increase. And most animals will contra freeload. They want to train. And studies show if you're actually using positive reinforcement, it's the animal's preferred form of enrichment. I do not want to use force with a baboon or negative reinforcement, which is coercion. Coercion is negative reinforcement. Coercion is do it or else. And coercion often involves ultimatums. I am not big on ultimate. If you're going to offer me an ultimatum, be sure you're okay with which I decide. Okay, because once somebody gives me an ultimatum, I will make the decision that's best for me, the animals in my care, in my future. Yeah, so I don't work well, and most people probably don't work well with using coercion and negative reinforcement. When you use those with our animals, you are putting your life in danger. Our animals can be some of our best teachers. So according to dictionary.com, are you guys still here with me? According to dictionary.com, I looked up coercion, and this is what it says. The act of coercing, using force or intimidation to obtain compliance. Force or the power to use force in gaining compliance such as government or police force. Now, government and police, take the word force out of there. Government and police are starting to understand the power of positive reinforcement and are using this in their daily activities. I do not want to use force or intimidation to control behavior with any animal I work with. Not if I care about that animal. I'd say even if I don't care about the animal, but I've never met an animal I don't care about. I have had situations that I don't care about or encounters that I don't care about. If I don't care, then I may use a positive punisher. I may use an aversive if I have no value of our future interaction. But with animals, hey, Sandy, with animals in my care, there are several reasons why I don't want to use coercion or negative reinforcement. Negative reinforcement is it's reinforcing because the behavior maintains or increases. It's negative because the animal is giving you the behavior to escape avoided consequence. It's a minus is negative to get that consequence to be removed. That's what the minus in negative reinforcement means. I want to stay as far away from negative reinforcement as possible because there's 4 main factors in using aversives to control behavior. And I've seen them all. And a lot of times I don't even need to know the history of the animal. A lot of times I don't want to know the history of the animal. Just show me the animal. And because a lot of times people will say, oh, this animal's had a history of abuse for 12 years. I don't really need to know that. And maybe it wasn't abuse. Maybe it was some other things. but I can sit and get a pretty good read on an animal's history based on watching behavior, watching what it moves towards, watch what it moves away from, watch how it starts reacting when paired with certain situations, environmental events. You can see, okay, so for example, you work with a dog. Tell me this. This is what I look for. You work with a dog, and all of a sudden you go like this over its head, and the dog goes like this. Okay? You can assume all you want, but what I'm doing is reading behavior. Do this again. If this happens again, all right, usually this is a sign of fear or a reaction to escape, avoid a consequence of an environmental event. Yeah. Behavior doesn't lie. Okay? Behavior doesn't lie. So, I say that because the four main factors of using aversives to control behavior have consequences on the behavior, and they're numerous. This is in some of my webinars. I state studies of consequences of self-helplessness, frustration, increased anxiety, increased abnormal repetitive behaviors such as this, because it can't escape, avoid what's getting ready to happen. Okay. Another popular side effect, and I've seen this, I have it with one of my animals at the center, is apathy, lethargy. The animal is very slow to respond. And a lot of times I'll joke with Rocky, because I've had Rocky. He's going to be 22 years old. He's our male Moluccan cockatoo. Okay. Rocky. Here's an example of apathy, lethargy. Okay. I've heard bits and pieces about Rocky's history. I don't know how much of it's true, but what I do rely on is what behavior is telling me. I ask Rocky to step up to this day, right? And I'll say, step up, please. And he goes like this. And he always does it very slow. Apathy, lethargy. And I will joke with him, because I like to joke a lot. Joking, I'm a very sarcastic person, and I love to have fun. And everything I do, I pretty much have fun. If not, I do something else. So I always joke around with him and say, okay, you're moving so slow because I beat you a lot. Another side effect of using aversives, which are things the animal doesn't like to control behavior. I don't want to use aversives to control behavior. I know the fallout. I know many times people are using aversives and coercion to control behavior because they simply don't know any better. But just like all areas of science, all areas of technology, we evolve, okay? We need to evolve, and there's better information out there for us to use better with these animals. These animals are depending on it, and they deserve it. So our best tool is education, period. Another side effect of using aversives to control behavior is increased aggression. Okay. What is aggression? Define aggression. It's not that aggression doesn't exist. It does. But what does it look like for that particular animal? Lunging at cage bars, pinning eyes, raising eyebrows, showing teeth as you approach. If I use force with an animal, that aggression serves a purpose, and I'll tell you what that aggression serves, why that aggression exists. It's probably primarily because it's being reinforced because whoever has interacted with that animal in the past simply did not know better or doesn't care. If I see an animal showing signs of aggression, I will start looking around at the people taking care of that animal. And then I will start watching, and then I will start approaching those people and asking, why? are you using this type of interaction with this animal? And if it's because the person doesn't know any better, then I'm very, very willing to work with them and help share education with them. If the person does not care, then if I have any say in it, I will get that person out of that position of caring for that animal. These animals deserve better. Jen says, okay, aversities break down your relationship with the animal. The animal learns not to trust you. Yes. And I need animals to trust me. I want animals to trust me. When you have animals that trust you, it will show. And it's so much easier to work with the animal. I want animals running to me, not running away from me. Okay. A lot of times when I first start training an animal, sometimes I have to work with food. Food is the only thing I have to work with to pair myself with the delivery of awesomeness. All right. And then once I've paired myself, then you'll see reinforcers start to change because communication is happening. Training is communication. Communication is learning. And once the animal starts pairing me with the food reinforcers, then often the opportunity to be with me comes a positive reinforcer. Beth says, I saw an alpha roll being used on a Saint Bernard. Oh, I think I would have a hard time keeping my mouth shut if I saw anybody do an alpha roll with anything. I wouldn't have a hard time because I would open my mouth. I would have a hard time with how I am saying. I'd be like, hey, can I help you out here? Can I show you a different way that might be more effective? I saw an alpha roll being used on a Saint Bernard the other day. His dog had done nothing but look over at a puppy I was training. 4 ladies and him thought it was okay. Mad, my stomach hurt. And those people that thought it was okay maybe just didn't know any better. The person doing the alpha roll, maybe they didn't know any better. If people are paying for this kind of education, they're probably thinking their payment means they're getting quality education. Think again. But I have seen people use alpha rolls and things, other types of aversives, because it makes them look cool. Okay? Bigger egos. There's a lot of big egos in training animals. There's a lot of big egos in training, period. And a lot of people get that, I don't know, get that boost of feeling important through forcing animals to do things. A lot of times that is a sign of that individual lacking something serious in their own lives. Don't take it out on the animals. Okay? So, okay. Jen says, lazy trainers trick clients that they must dominate the dog. Yeah. A couple people are asking, what is an alpha roll? I've seen alpha rolls done before where you force the dog, I think it's primarily done on a dog, force the dog down on the ground, over on its back to show, am I correct, dog trainers? To show that I am the dominant one, I have the power. That is not acceptable. Not acceptable whatsoever. It has its fallout. We wouldn't treat people like this, and if we do, it has its fallout. You can abuse control. in training people. You can definitely abuse trust in training animals. I have never seen anybody do an alpha roll with a gorilla. I would like to say I'd like to see that tried, but I know the person doing the alpha roll is not going to win. That is a sign and a consequence of using aversives to control behavior. So another increase, did I even talk about that? Increased aggression is one of the top side effects of using aversives to control behavior, using coercion, using negative reinforcement. Somebody using force on an animal labeled as aggressive usually increases aggression. Okay. Another one is, and this isn't just applicable to animals. This is applicable to human animals as well. Overgeneralized fear responses, also known as phobias, where, for example, that crate right there, okay, that can be an environmental event that causes aggression or fear. That crate has never done anything to an animal. All right. But if I force that animal into that crate, instead of training it, teaching it, okay, then fear, damn it, I'm all backwards. Fear is going to be associated with the sight of that crate. Okay. Fear, if I only crate that animal in this room, when I enter this room or when I start approaching it, the animal could start showing overgeneralized fear responses, knowing that this room has never done anything, but it is associated with all the behavior and force in the use of aversives to get that behavior, which doesn't need to happen in the first place. When we know better, we do better, right? Jen says alpha roll equals learned helplessness. Yeah, and one of the saddest things I see is an animal that shows learned helplessness, where an animal starts breaking down, shutting down, or how it hangs its head because it knows no matter how hard it tries, it has no control over consequences in its life. That is sad and disgusting because it doesn't need to be. Beth says Ecollars that beep only still cause fear. Yes, because it's a conditioned reinforcer. It's been paired with the zap. All right. I had to counter condition puppy to beep from anything like a microwave. I had a Burmese mountain dog. Well, no, I didn't. I could have had a Burmese mountain dog. I had the owners of that Burmese mountain dog in one of my understanding behavior classes that Burmese mountain dog, excuse me, had to eventually be put down. Sorry, I don't have any coffee. Had to be put down because of the use of the e-collar because what this trains is zap, zap, zap. It's telling the animal consistently what not to do. Animals learn faster for being reinforced for what to do versus what told to do. I want nobody on my team or no animal in my care. I will not teach them by telling them what not to do because I need those animals in that team to be strong, empowered. They'll work harder. They'll work faster. They'll give me more behaviors that I need. When I have a sick animal, that animal is already stressed and sometimes already stressed to the point that it's on the verge of losing its life. If I have to then take it and start forcing it to do things, I can cause so much more unnecessary stress on that animal. So that's why we do harness training, recall training, syringe training, scale training, towel training, thermometer training. That's right. Crane said no. We do that now before the animal gets sick. Because when the animal gets sick, it's the unnecessary stress that then comes in. That's why I do things like this right now. Because what I'm doing here is getting an Asian fishing cat to come when called, touch a nose target when called. And that table was built to put a scale on which that Asian fishing cat is now on. All right. I get weights now. I scale train now because when it gets sick, I don't want to have to force it. But I will tell you, I will use force with an animal. Okay. And this is per Paul Chance as well. I will use force and positive punishers when the alternative of not using them is worse. Okay? Death is a lot worse than using force. Once we get the animal like pulling, telling a bird, gavage, feeding it, forcing an animal into a crate to get it to the vet. Okay? Forcing an animal on a scale. I will do that if the alternative of not doing it is worse. But at the same time, note to self, this needs training. If we haven't done it yet, it needs training now. Okay. Melanie says, I have a dog who is terrified of the dishwasher. If we turn it on while she's in the house, she paces at the back door or hides in a bedroom. How do we get her over that? You can get her over that through counter conditioning, through systematic desensitization. Be specific, Melanie. I would ask you, be specific. Turning on the dishwasher or the dishwasher is very vague. Is it the sound? Is it the hum? Is it the opening of the door? Is there lights? Are there beeps? All of these things, I would need to know what they are. And then you can slowly desensitize other sounds. The behavior of her being terrified of the dishwasher was unknowingly trained. Now we just have to knowingly train something else. In order to change the behavior, I ask people, what do you want them to do instead? And then we have to start training that. I assume it's the sound. If it's the sound, there's several things you can do. This is why I say keep your animal used to change. Keep it used to change. Changing sounds, changing movements, changing light, changing furniture, changing environments, changing cars, changing locations, and pair all of that with positive reinforcement. Because then when all of a sudden changes start coming into the house, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. So one of the several things I do is get an app on your phone, all right? Okay. Get an app on your phone with different sounds. You can find different animal sounds, zoo sounds, household sounds, trucks, cars, honking, dishwashers, and play it at 1. Don't start with the dishwasher. Start with these other sounds that the animal might be more comfortable with. Play it at the level of 1 when 10 is at the highest. Play it. Be good. Reinforce. Pair it, and then don't move increasing the level to 2 until 1 is. You want that animal hearing that sound. You want to continually train that until you see the animal hear that sound and look at you for the reinforcer. That's what you want. That's when you move to 2. Then you move to 3. Then you move to 10. Then you move to different sounds. Then you start shaping, approaching the dishwasher, touching the dishwasher in that same manner. Okay. Other things about positive punishment. We stay far away from positive punishers as well. Punishment is the procedure of using an aversive to control a behavior, making it start to decrease. Positive punishers. Positive means it's something that's added. That whatever's added is always an aversive. And an aversive is always identified by the individual, never by us. Okay? What is an aversive to me may not be an aversive to you. An aversive to me is the taste of chocolate. I do not like chocolate. Okay? A lot of people I know love chocolate. So, positive punisher. So say the birds behind me are afraid of the radio. Okay? If I pull out the radio like this and the birds fly to the other room, if that's what I want them to do, I've just positively punished the behavior of them staying here. If I want them to move away, this is a positive punisher. Okay? Why? Because it's added to the environment. Okay? It's a punisher because the behavior of them sitting on the perch. Hey, Amanda. The behavior of them sitting on the perch has decreased. Positively punished. Boom. All right. Thanks for the coffee, Amanda. I needed that. I got coffee. Punishers decrease behavior. Reinforcers maintain or increase behavior. Coercion can maintain and reinforce behavior. How does that happen? If I don't like something, why do I do it? It means it's being negatively reinforced. You're being coerced to do it. You show up to work. If you don't like work, you show up to avoid being fired. You show up to get a paycheck. Okay? That paycheck is negatively reinforcing your behavior of showing up to work. I want people to want to show up to work. Okay? I want people to want to be with me, to want to do the jobs that they do. I need and want animals to want to be with me. Juliet says, I have a dog that hates being in our vehicles. He will hide on the floor and will cry. We go to the park and other places that he loves, but he seems to only think of the ride as going to the vet or groomers. So that is a conditioned punisher and a conditioned reinforcer because it's been paired. And sometimes if you can train to go to the vet, we train all of these animals for vet exams. We train a veterinary exam to be a very positive thing because it's got to happen. It has to happen. And if you're not trained for it and you need it, I'm going to force you to do it. But then I've made my job twice as hard than I need it to be because I didn't train it, because I used force. I don't use force if I don't have to, because I know that animals learn faster from being reinforced for what to do versus being told what not to do. Jen says, do fun vet visits. Yes. And we just did, like Marie over in Australia just did and is doing a series of live streams in level 1 showing how she's getting her dog that's very fearful and I believe has has seizures if he gets in the car. And he's in the car and driving around. I think I've got a crane that needs to come out of her enclosure. We are getting ready to do a crane experience here in the gift shop in about 17 minutes. No, sorry, 13 minutes. No, yeah, 13 minutes. Yes. So I'll tell you this. With Quincy, our Rottweiler, when I first got her, I just read behavior. When I walked her up to my Jeep, she would stop. She would stop, sit her butt down on the ground, and she wouldn't move any further if she thought she was going closer to the Jeep. So I trained her. And where did it start? nowhere near the Jeep. Somebody asked me, what's the biggest mistake you see in training? And I said, people taking too big of steps in their shaping plans. So if I need to train my dog, which I did, to ride with me in the Jeep, which she does, and she looks forward to, I had to back chain that, okay? I had to start at the very end. Where do I want, what are all the series of steps that I need to do in order to get my dog in a car, okay? It's going to be 100 and some pound Rottweiler. I'm not going to be able to pick up and stick in the back of a Jeep Wrangler. So I'm like, all right, she needs to learn to climb up a ramp. So we brought out the ramp in the center, nowhere near the car. And I just laid it down on the ground like this. I'll get the dog walking back and forth on the ramp. And then I may raise one end, get the dog jump coming up. But what I don't want her to teach her to do is jump off the side. Because once they learn that behavior, once they know they can do it, they know that's always an option, okay? So I want her to come up, and then I put the ramp like this, so I can get her come down. I want you, if your feet are on the ramp, they need to stay on the ramp until you reach your end target, which is the back of the Jeep. So train up, down. Up ramp, down ramp, up ramp, down ramp. We did that back and forth. Then I increased the ramp up, and then I put it up on a table. Then I trained her up into the back of the Jeep. I don't turn it on. Those are too big of steps. Train her down. Her claws are out. Okay. Makes sense. Yes, Mary Florence says, my business motto, training in partnerships with dogs. Yes, absolutely, Mary. Amanda says, I've conditioned my dogs to enjoy going to the vet and groomer. I wonder if that particular dog also doesn't enjoy the rides in the car themselves. I've had animals that got car sick. Whoa. Of course, yeah, I've had birds get car sick. One was Cello, my roller pigeon. I drove him to Columbus for a training demonstration for the Ohio Wildlife Rehabilitators Conference. He barfed. I didn't know pigeons got car sick. Why wouldn't they? Come on, hang on. Okay, Ruby says, my husband is, I think, negatively reinforcing one of our cockatoos because he is so afraid of being nipped by her that he jumps even with a small movement with her. It means he's not comfortable. Ruby, and I've met your husband in the live streams in the Parrot Project. Your husband is moving way past his comfort level. Tell him to back up. I always tell people here, if you're not comfortable, don't do it. If you're not comfortable, it's because you don't understand the animal, and you could accidentally reinforce a very negative behavior that you don't want. He's afraid of being nipped by her, that he jumps with even small movement with her. Overgeneralized fear response. She now expects him to want this. Ugh. My theory is that she does not like him. What steps can we do to stop this via positive reinforcement? Ruby, let's go into depth and detail about this in the Parrot Project. The result is that I have to be in the room with our cockatoos that no nipping action goes on. Tell him to stop. Stop doing what he's doing. Stop right there, because he's accidentally reinforcing behavior that you guys don't want trained. I would back up, go to the target stick. There's a reason I use a target stick. There's numerous reasons I use a target stick. Okay. Back to coercion and negative reinforcement. Animals don't learn efficiently by giving behavior to escape, avoid consequences. They're not learning to their maximum potential. They're learning to give enough behavior to get you to go away and to get the task to stop. I don't want to work with animals that way. I want animals to want to give me behavior. Okay. Using anything else but positive reinforcement and negative punishment doesn't build relationships. Okay. And even if I don't want to build a relationship, it can make a desired behavior even harder to get. Okay. Using force often reinforces more force, more restriction, less behavior, less productivity. All right, let's see. Anything else? Okay, I think and maybe we dive a little deeper in this in our memberships, and yeah, maybe we dive a little bit deeper on this in the upcoming podcast memberships, what have you. So our memberships, let me see. The zoo is opening. Our memberships, level 1 for companion animals, include podcasts, monthly Q&A, live stream activities. We just had a live stream webinar with Emily Cassell on small mammal enrichment, and Emily Cassell is going to be with us next Sunday on Coffee with the Critters. Level 2 membership. These are online learning memberships directed by me. Our level 2 is more for professional animal trainers, but definitely not limited to. We have board certified behavior analysts, people who want to get in the field or thinking about getting in the field. You can find these on our website at theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. We also have our projects, which are species specific. Okay, species specific, such as the parrot project, where we learn nothing about parrots, pigs. Lots of people need some pig training. And a lot of times people pair these with a level 1 membership so they can get those awesome podcasts. And I'm just saying they're awesome because that's what I hear about them. We also have webinars on our website at theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. Whereas if you are a level 2 member, all live stream webinars are free to you. Consultations are free to you. Level 1, their live stream webinars are free to you if they're on the topic of behavior. But these webinars are $34.99 and they're yours to keep and packed full of information. You can find them on our website. We have species specific, such as parrots. We do have species specific, such as pigs. We have ones that are topic specific, such as breaking down behavior, understanding behavior, and what have you. Okay, all of that is on our website. I've got a crane flapping his wings. We got to get out of here. For our referral program, every 5 people that you refer to the Animal Behavior Center memberships or projects and join earns you 1 hour free online consultation given by me. And Mary Florence says the podcasts are awesome. Thank you. And Julie says very interesting. If you guys want me diving even deeper, because we can go a lot deeper into coercion, negative reinforcement, positive punishment, aversives, and their complications with them. Why they might not work. They may work temporarily. It may work, but are you getting what you really want? We can dive deeper into this in our memberships. With that being said, I'm going to go train a crane and some alligators, and I will see you guys next weekend when I live stream with Emily Cassell. Juliet, if you're interested in the memberships or projects, shoot me an email and I'll get back to you probably tonight, because I got to go train some gators, which we're going to live stream in level 2, probably starting today. All right. See you guys. Hey, you guys want to say bye? Why are you guys foraging so intently? I'll take that.
Replacement behavior. Hey, where's my birds? Where's my birds?
Top of their pay no mind list. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Take care. You are very welcome.